Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about my dream build Tausch 665 Raw DeLuxe. So I recently did a video on my channel talking about my Tausch LaGrange and how it really changed my mind on that style of guitar, and I really fell in love with that model. That LaGrange was actually sitting in the booth at the 2022 Winter NAMM show when I met Rainer and fell in love with Tausch guitars. And when I saw him again at the 2023 NAMM show, I told him I have to make an order for a 665 because I just fell in love with how unique this instrument was, but instantly comfortable. So I made my order actually when I did an interview with him for this YouTube channel back in 2023. And as I was waiting on this guitar to be built is when I acquired the LaGrange that I now own and have fallen in love with. This guitar was delivered in April and I have used it a ton here in the studio, and I really wanted to get to know it in an intimate way before doing an official video on it and telling you about this instrument. And here's the thing, we live in a day and age where the cheap guitars of today are miles and miles better than the cheap guitars of years past. We're in the golden era of a honestly just flooded market. But there will always be a special tier above any custom shop, any team built thing, when there's a single luthier crafting an instrument by hand. From beginning to end, it's one person. Now, of course, there's a lot of people that are involved in, bringing some of these materials together to make the Tausch 665 Raw DeLuxe. But at the end of the day, this comes straight from the heart of Rainer Tausch. There are many special things about this guitar that make it unique. It definitely feels comfortable, it feels familiar, but the first thing that you're going to notice is the 665 millimeter scale length, which is a little bit longer than your standard scale length electric guitar at just over 26 inches, but it's enough to make a feel difference, and it snaps and resonates in a really unique and special way. Now we've got a semi-hollow pear wood body with an end-to-end sustain block, kind of coming from where the neck joins in the body all the way through. We've got this really unique plum wood trim block there. It's the first tone wood trim block that I'd seen, and it's just a really special and unique feature on this instrument. We've got a ridiculously flamed, beautiful neck with a nice, fills out your hand, but it's not, crazy baseball bat, but it feels incredible. This is the best neck shape for me personally that I've ever felt. It's just big enough. It's got the right amount of shoulder to where my hand doesn't ever fatigue. The fretwork is absolutely immaculate on this. And we've got all the fine details that you would want. We've got Spurzl locking tuning machines here. We've got high wood saddles so that there's no threaded pole pieces sticking up on the trim to kind of cut your hand. It's nice and smooth right there. This is actually the very first, I believe, 665 with Rainer's tremolo arm. So if you can see, it's actually threaded on the inside and then this threads onto a post. And I usually am not a fan of the screw-in tremolos because they feel sloppy a lot of the time. But this fits in there really nice. And unlike the push-in trims that I have on a lot of my other guitars, you occasionally have to tighten them with that tiny micro Allen key adjustment, and this one just screws in like you're familiar with, and there's no slop to it. You can be really gentle, and it's just beautiful. The milling, even on the copper end here of the tremolo arm. We've got Housel Tausch humbuckers and the Blues single coil for the middle pickup. We've got splits for both of the humbuckers and a 5-way blade here. All of it is this aged nickel hardware. And Rainer, I kind of told them that I definitely wanted a black headstock face. It's just something that I've always loved on specific guitars of mine. And the color, I wanted some kind of really cool olive green-esque. And what Rainer came up with was just the most beautiful. It almost makes me think of a crayon green, and is just the coolest color. It's reliced beautifully in a way that Rainer has his special tricks to make it just feel broken in and immediately feels like it's at home. It's I think that's where the single artisan luthier, from beginning to end, crafting this with their hands, this really means something in a way that I think it's just hard to replicate once you get into a team built or factory built instrument. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
In my opinion, there's just another level of craftsmanship when it's a single person. It's the most boutique that you can get. And I think that really shines in the minute details of how comfortable and freeing this guitar is to play. So for all the playing examples, I'm playing my 665 Raw DeLuxe into my Eddie Wong Polaris, and the Axe-Fx 3 is providing some post-speaker reverb and delay. So let's listen to some of the cleaner sounds. I'll start on the neck pickup and we can hear it split, and then the same thing with the bridge humbucker. In-between sounds with the humbucker split, I find that I'm using that a lot of times for comping different parts. And then if we add just a little bit of drive to that, I feel like something that this guitar does well is it allows you to kind of speak your own voice. It'll stick with you and it'll keep up whether you're doing chicken picking country or laying on some heavy rock riffs. But it's got a voice of its own. It's got a soul of its own, and it really shines through kind of no matter what you're playing. So although this has a slightly longer scale, it's tuned normally, so it's in standard tuning, and you just get a little extra snap and a little bit of extra bite out of that extended scale length. Even in the neck humbucker, it doesn't ever really get too woolly. It's very bell-like, and that's a buzzword that's used probably too often, but that's really what I think of with this extra resonance that you get out of the way that this is constructed, being semi-hollow, the internal connection of the neck to the bridge, and really just the love and attention to detail that goes into handcrafting a Tausch 665 Raw DeLuxe. Even mistakes almost sound good on this guitar. It just makes me feel so free to play. I end up playing more interesting things to me, and I think it's because of the kind of soul that this guitar has. It just feels right, and ultimately it feels and inspires me like a guitar that I've had from the very beginning of learning how to play chords. It just immediately feels at home, and now that I've spent a couple months with it, it has become my new #1. So you're gonna see it a lot more on the channel. And if you're interested in checking out the Tausch guitars range, there's 3 different variations of the 665 model, and you can read about it on the website. Of course, as always, links are down in the description below. If you're watching this far and you haven't subscribed, please do so. That really helps me out. It's the best way to support me at this time and support this channel. Let me know what you would like to see next on this channel. And until next time, I've been Colin.